Good morning, everyone. I am Mirto Mangriotti, and I am so happy you could join me today. I am really excited about this webinar, and I hope you're ready to rewrite your story. So let's jump in with a question. What is the story you tell about yourself? First, to other people. How do you answer when you jump into someone who you know and they ask you, how are you? The most common answers would be A, if it's just an acquaintance, to be indifferent, fine, how are you? Or if it is a friend, usually by complaining, I'm too busy, I have been sick, I have too much work. You know, my parent, husband, child is sick and I have been taking care of them. Running around taking my children to all these different engagements is exhausting. Christmas is coming and I have to buy all these presents. There's too much traffic. I'm hosting this dinner at home and there are so many things to do. And the list goes on and on. Does this sound familiar? Everything in life can be a challenge if you look at it that way. It's just a matter of perspective. Then there is the talking we're constantly doing in our head. I'm not good enough. I'm going to fail. They don't like me. I don't have enough time to do anything. I'm stressed. I feel tired. I feel lonely. I feel guilty. What I said or did was stupid. And on and on and on. Your life's narrative is shaped by your own perceptions, which are created from your belief system. In other words, your reality is based entirely on the way you think about things. Right now, you're creating your own reality based on the stories you tell yourself and the way you interpret the world around you. Fortunately, these are exactly that. Just stories you tell about yourself to you and others, and you can change them, starting today. This is what we're going to learn here, because telling a different story about your life will also change the way you experience your life. Do you want to feel good or bad about your life? This is your choice. You can always see the glass half full or half empty. Negative self-talk is the first thing we are going to look into. Why? Because this inner critic shapes the way we are, react, and feel about different events that occur in our lives. One of my mentors, John Assaraf, calls the inner critic, which by the way, we all have inside us, ANTS, which stands for automatic negative thoughts. And I love this analogy because negative thoughts are actually like ants, hardworking, creeping out anytime, any place. And of course, there are too many and you can't easily get rid of them. And they create a vicious cycle that we have to break. We have a negative thought, which is accompanied by a negative feeling, and then we're expecting a bad outcome. And of course, we get the bad outcome, which in turn, it enhances the negative thought or perceptions we had all along. And this goes back to the negative thoughts and creates this cycle. So, how do we break the cycle? The first thing is that you have to become aware of the negative self-talk as soon as it starts going on in your head. The next step is to stop identifying with this inner critic. How do you do that? You make him into another person. Give him a name, a face, and a personality. I actually call mine Magoo, from the annoying short-sighted cartoon, but the name also describes a square, straightforward person with a dry sense of humor, and you can feel free to use him. But Magoo would never be my friend. He is a pessimist, short-sighted, too critical, annoying, he won't shut up, and I really have a hard time convincing him to change his mind and see my wonderful positive story. Looking at your thoughts this way can even be amusing. But when you distance yourself from your thoughts, it is easier for you to see that what your inner critic is telling you might not even be true. It can just be a fear or an assumption with no real value basis. This way, you can even use your inner critic as an advisor. For example, if Magoo is telling you you're going to fail, ask why and what you can do to avert this failure. Then, thank him and release him. Remember that for every event that happens in your life, you create a story. You have a positive or a negative feeling on the story, which may or may not be true. From now on, ask yourself, is this story serving me? If it is not, then change it and only keep the positive ones. Yes, I know that this is much easier said than done. So let's look at how we can go about doing this. These are the 10 most common self-limiting beliefs or stories that we tell ourselves. 1, I am too old or too young to do whatever we want to do. I am not smart enough. I am not educated enough. I'm afraid of trying and failing. You have to have money to make money. I have already tried everything. It's selfish of me to want more. I don't feel that I really deserve it. I don't have the willpower. And all the good ones are taken. Can you identify with any one of these? I am certain you can. And I am sure the next question we have is, what are you supposed to do if you actually believe that such a negative thought is true? The answer is fake it till you make it. You experience in life what you believe to be true. So by changing your beliefs, you can change your life. Rewrite your story. How? By practicing positive affirmations. For every negative thought that you have, create an opposite positive affirmation and repeat it every time the negative thought creeps up in your mind. As soon as you become aware of the negative thought, pause that thought. Take 2 deep breaths and say the counteracting positive affirmation you have created. Now, here's an exercise you could do. Spend some time to write down all the ands, the negative thoughts that come up about yourself. Try to write at least 20, but at minimum 20, unless you're so fortunate that you don't have 20 negative thoughts about yourself. Write these on the left column of a notebook or a spreadsheet or whatever is more convenient for you. Then on the right column, write the opposite positive affirmation. Here, let me give you some basic rules about writing affirmations. Start with I am. Always use the present tense and always make a positive statement. Let's see some examples. Let's say you're saying, I am afraid of flying. Writing an affirmation, I am not afraid of flying, is the wrong way because, as you can see, it's not stated positively. It has the word not in it. So the right way to write it would be something like that. I'm totally relaxed when I'm flying, and you could also add, and I love what I'm now able to visit all the great places I always wanted, stress-free. Let's see another example. There is no way I will be able to finish this project. You could write the affirmation by saying, I am celebrating completing my project successfully, in time, and with ease. Or another one, I will never have a loving relationship. The positive way to say that is, I am enjoying my amazing relationship with my soulmate. And one more example, I am not good enough. So, the right way to say that as a positive affirmation would be, I am perfect just the way I am, and I am learning the skills to tackle anything that comes my way. Read the affirmations daily and remember them when the ants take over your mind. Don't worry if you don't believe them in the beginning. When you have doubts or feel uneasy about them, it means that you're on the right track. With time, they will grow on you. And remember, what you focus on, your mind tries to help you make it into reality. It filters all the irrelevant information and keeps what is important in order to help you get the outcome you want. I can assure you positive affirmations work. And I will share a very recent example from my life. About 7 months ago, one of my biggest fears was public speaking. And when I say fear, I mean my face went completely red. I forgot my lines, even the names of colleagues I had to introduce that I knew for years. I always did everything to avoid speaking in public. I remember in college, I even fell ill the previous night of a major project presentation, which I believe was totally psychosomatic, just to avoid the presentation. And of course, I skipped it altogether. The few times I had no other choice were a disaster. But I realized, because of the work that I'm doing now, I have to conquer this fear. I had to rewrite my story. Up until that time, the ants in my head were telling me, I am afraid of public speaking. If I stand in front of a crowd, everything will go black. And how can other people do it? I will never be able to do that. They're so lucky to have this charisma. At the same time, just by thinking about it, made my heart beat faster, and I could feel my face turning red. But I wanted to change my story. So I wrote down my goal. I will have made my first public speech by my next birthday in May 2020. And I created my affirmation. I am a vibrant, passionate, full of joy and confidence, inspiring public speaker. At the beginning, when I was reciting this affirmation, I laughed at myself. I said, yeah, right. But I continued reading it daily and tried to imagine myself in front of a crowd, finishing a speech and getting a standing ovation. To cut the long story short, the steps towards achieving my goal started showing up. I discovered and enrolled in Toastmasters, an international organization that helps people become great speakers. And for my icebreaker speech, I won the Best Speaker Award. By the way, this is a photo of me during the speech. Who would have thought? 7 months ago, I certainly would not. But by changing the way I thought about me and my skills, opened up new possibilities that I was able to see and follow. And eventually, I started expecting to be a good speaker. I faked it till I made it. Which brings me to another very important point. When describing something about yourself which is negative, always describe it as if it was in the past, and at the same time create the positive counteracting affirmation. Let me give you an example. Like when you say, I cannot lose weight, change it to, until today, I used to not be able to lose weight. And the counteracting affirmation will be, I feel great being my perfect weight. And another example would be, I am not good at remembering any names of people I meet. Many of us say that or used to say that. And again, changed it to, I was not good at remembering any names of people I met until today. And the affirmation, I can easily remember everything I see and hear. I have a perfect memory. Don't reinforce a negative perception you have about yourself by making it in the present. Instead, if you feel the urge to express it aloud, at least make it in the past. Remember, we get what we expect. Another very important and destructive part of our story is guilt and shame. You experience guilt when you think you're doing something bad. It means that you have a should that you did not live up to. If you feel ashamed, you feel that you don't deserve success or happiness. So you have to get rid of this guilty feeling. But before I get into it, I want you to grasp this one thing that my mentor Jack Canfield taught me. People are always doing the best they can with the awareness, knowledge, skills, information, and tools they have to meet some basic or primary need. And the key phrase here is to meet some basic or primary need. And what is a primary need? Feeling loved, food, sex, sleep, shelter, being nurtured, and so on. So, there are two ways to get rid of guilt. Change the behavior that creates your guilt, if it is in the present. In other words, stop what you think you're doing wrong. And second, change the belief about the way you should be. Let me give you an example. You're on a diet and you go out for dinner with friends. You have to decide what to order, and you start feeling guilty for wanting to eat pizza instead of fish and vegetables. In this moment, to stop feeling guilty, you can either go with the fish or change your current belief. And what is your current belief? I should always be able to stick to my diet plan, else I'm a weak person. This is how you could rephrase it. I should always be able to stick to my diet plan, except from the one night I'm going out to dinner with friends where I can allow myself to have fun and enjoy my dinner. There is no point in feeling guilty about something that you're going to do anyway. I am not saying here that you should be irresponsible, reckless, or do intentionally harm. But remember that you are always doing the best you can. If you knew better, you would do differently. And this is true for everyone. Now, guilt occurs in two time zones, the past and the present. When it is in the present, as we saw in the previous example, it can be useful because it can prevent you from doing the thing you're going to feel guilty about. But what if you feel guilty or ashamed about an event in the past? My question is, can you change your past behavior? And the answer, of course, is no. So, you have to change your belief about the past. Here is an example of one of my own guilty sins. I have a 2 years younger brother and we have a great relationship. But when we were children, we used to hang out a lot with my cousin who was around my age. And we were little girls and did not want to play with my brother. And we frequently told him so, not in the nicest way, and sent him to play on his own. I know that this is not a very big deal, but I always used to feel guilty about not being more caring as a sister, especially because our parents divorced when we were young and we were actually close we tried to take care of each other. But I rephrased my story to little girls are good sisters by including their brother in their games, unless they're too young to know any better. The point I'm trying to make is that you must not beat yourself up about your current standards for where you were not in the past. Now you know better. Then you did the best you could. You are not the same person you were then. I will say it one more time because it is so important for you to get it. People are always doing the best they can with the awareness, knowledge, skills, information, and tools they have to meet some basic or primary need. You did the best you could at that time, meeting some basic need. It is hard to let go of the past because we feel as though it's a big part of who we currently are. Remind yourself that every decision you made in the past was done to the best of your ability. Everything you've learned from those experiences has shaped you into the person you are today. Who you are today is more capable, better educated, more understanding than you were before, all because you've experienced more life. Which brings me nicely to my next point in rewriting your story. Forgive yourself and others for that matter. Keeping score or a grudge is just wasted energy. It is a useless feeling. It will never change the event that occurred in the past. It only contaminates your mind and your thoughts and creates negative feelings which are only harmful to you and sometimes even to your body. So let go of whatever happened in the past and forgive yourself or anyone else that you think may have done something bad to you. Forgiving is a liberating feeling. It opens the door for you to enjoy the present. It creates a beautiful, peaceful space and allows you to focus on better and more important things in your life. Trust me on that. A big part of rewriting your story is to start loving yourself just the way you are. stop comparing yourself to other people. Everyone is different and special in his own unique way. Look around you in nature. Nothing is the same. Consider how boring life would be if everyone was perfectly the same. So appreciate yourself just the way you are, now, today. So this is what I want you to do to remind yourself how great you are. I want you to write a list of at least 30 things you're good at. You can even ask your friends and family for their input. Sometimes we have a different perception of ourselves, so it may be interesting for you to see what you can discover about you with the help of your friends. You can even turn it into a family or friends gathering where you can all create your lists and give positive feedback to each other. You have a relationship with yourself as much as you have a relationship with other people. And this relationship needs as much nourishment as any other. Listen to what your body is telling you. If you need more sleep, make sure to get it. If you feel stiff, arrange for to do some exercise. How you feel physically affects your mood and emotions and vice versa, which also creates the story you tell about yourself. So to rewrite your story, you also have to learn to lovingly respond to your needs. Take care of yourself. At least once a week, spend some time to do one thing just for you. Take a hot bath, book a massage, take a long walk in nature, go to a movie, play, or a concert. Anything that makes you happy and brings you peace. Give yourself credit and acknowledge the good things that you accomplish every day. This is one thing that most of us forget, and it is a very big part of your story, the good part. It is what you want to remember. A great exercise you can do to help you with that is called the mirror exercise. Here's what I want you to do. Every night, before you go to bed, you will stand in front of the mirror in your bathroom and you will talk to yourself for at least 1 minute aloud, telling yourself how proud you are of all the things that you have accomplished that day. You will list all your accomplishments one by one, no matter how small they are. At the end, you will tell yourself you love you. So I will try and demonstrate this, and I will assume that now is last night. So, hello Mirto. I just wanted to touch base and tell you how proud I am of you today. First of all, you woke up early in the morning and you started your day with ease, and I loved that you had time to do a few things and take it slow before going out for your day. I'm really proud of you that you first checked off a few things of your to-do list, like paying a few bills and things like that. And then I feel really proud about you because you started again doing your exercises, like you did the plank and the hand exercises that you have in your list. So congratulations on that. I'm very happy about that. And I am very proud of you for going and keeping your appointments to your dentist yesterday, because I know how much you dread every time you have to go there. And look how well it turned out. I am proud of you that you sat on the chair and you were really calm and took deep, big breaths, and everything went great. And I'm so happy about that. And the greatest part of all is that the doctor told you that you are doing great and you only have to visit him once a year, which is fantastic, unless, of course, there is a problem. But I'm really proud that you are doing so well with your teeth. Then I want to tell you how much I appreciate that you had to go to travel to the other part of Athens, and even though the traffic was terrible, you didn't feel anxiety, or you were not stressed, but instead you laid back and enjoyed listening to some of your favorite podcasts, and you also talked via Bluetooth, of course, to some people you wanted to catch up with. So I'm really proud of you about that. Congratulations, because I know that you usually get frustrated with traffic and you start driving on and anyway. And one of the things that I'm really most proud of you about the day is that you did this meeting and you arranged for your next live presentation and course, and it went great, and I'm really happy about you and about that. And then I really love that you spend this time with your friend and your goddaughter, and you had an amazing time, and it was fantastic, and I really like that. And what else? And when we came back at home at night, you remembered, I'm really proud that you remembered to put on your night cream, which is something that you usually forget, so congratulations on that. And it was a great day, and I'm really proud of you. And the last thing I want to say to you is, I love you, Mirta. So this is how it goes. It can be awkward. You may stop and think and try to think of all the things that you want to say, but there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You just do it. And you have to do this exercise for 40 consecutive days to see the full benefits. If you miss a day, you start over. In the beginning, it may feel a bit awkward, but it will become easier as the days go by, and it will feel quite soothing and rewarding. I urge you to try it. If you're living with someone, just let them know you're trying this exercise so that they don't think that you have gone mad and suddenly started talking to yourself. But just humor me and give it a shot. And if you do, please send me some feedback of your experience. One more thing I want to tell you is that you have to give yourself a break. Nobody is a superhero. Nobody is 100% in their game 24/7. Not even the gurus or the people you look up to for inspiration. They just don't advertise the bad days or the small failures. We all have our biorhythms and our up and down days. So If you have a down day or even week, don't beat yourself up. Remember what we talked about guilt. Listen to your body and give yourself permission to be lazy or take it easy for a while and enjoy it with no shame or guilt. This will give your body and mind time to rest when you're back on your game, and you will have truly recharged your batteries. Then you will feel ready to accomplish anything. This is a very important tip I discovered quite recently. I used to pressure myself to tick off this big to-do list I had each day. Some days I could, and others it was really difficult for me to go through even half of the items on the list. I felt guilty, ashamed, and incompetent. Then I felt exhausted and did even less, until it came to me. I gave myself permission to do nothing when I felt like it. And the result was that when I came back, I felt energized and filled with new creative ideas. What is important though is to get back on track. Don't lose sight of the good story you want your life to be, and keep telling it to yourself and share it with other people. So I want to challenge you to write your story in 3 sentences, and if you feel like it, share it in the comments of the replay of this webinar. The first sentence will be about the past. The second will be regarding the present, and the third about what you wish for yourself in the future, your biggest goal aspiration. If you're interested in learning more about goal setting, please register to my next webinar called New Year, New You, coming up this January by going to the link you see here. I will be talking about the what, the why, and the when. The 3 important W's of goal setting, and why they play an important role in keeping us on track when we feel like quitting. So now what? For starters, go to the replay I will share later today. I will also email it to you. And download the accompanying workbook, and most importantly, do all the exercises we discussed. Start rewriting your story now and begin 2020 with a totally fresh mindset. If you have any questions or would like any help with what we discussed here, please do not hesitate to contact me in any way is more convenient to you. I'm always here for you. And now it's time to wrap up, but I want to leave you with some food for thought with the words of Joel Austin, who says that whatever follows I am is going to come looking for you. And if you want to see how your life will be like in 5 years, look at what you're saying to yourself now. So, I hope that next time you're asked the question, how are you? You will answer by saying, I feel great, I'm doing great. Bye for now.